Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage His Excellency, the President of the Hellenic Republic, Mr. Prokopios Pavlopoulos.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, President of the Hellenic Republic, Prokopios Pavlopoulos. Your Holiness, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great satisfaction that I welcome the start of the works of this European Summit, of the Concordia Summit here in Athens. Even more so when the subjects and topics of the summit present an extraordinary global interest. I will mention only three topics: the role of Europe, the role of the United States, the great issue of economic growth and development, particularly on the basis of private and public sector partnerships. This pertains to all real liberal economies. Allow me to share with you some thoughts of mine on the issues that form the basis of this summit, starting from the role of Europe per se. How do we Europeans think of Europe? As Greeks, an indispensable part of the European Union and of the hard nucleus of Europe, as we have already decided. Europe has a role that exceeds its people. So it's a global role on the basis of its history and culture. Europe has to accomplish this till the end. The quality and the qualitative elements of global policy are such that cannot restrict and limit Europe intra muros. If we take a look at the characteristics, we'll see that there are global challenges: war, terrorism, as well as climate change, overpopulation. All these are global issues to which Europe is called to play a part and have and adopt a stance, a particular stance, on its own. No, of course not. Europe never sought to solve the problems on its own. It always asked for the collaboration of others, in particular of the United States. The United States are a global power. No one doubts that. They have a global power and a global part. However, the United States on their own cannot accomplish all that on their own. They need the partnership and collaboration of Europe. They need to take from Europe basic and fundamental elements that are necessary. That is, faith in basic principles and values such as peace, democracy, social justice, and civilization in general. Every time the United States sought this cooperation and had it, they were able to accomplish their role in a better way. When they were isolated, then this was to the detriment of the world and the United States. Thus, the United States, in order for them to accomplish this global role and for their benefits and to the best of the interests of the American people, they are in need of this cooperation with Europe. This is fundamental, and I think that has to be understood. Some people after World War II tried to proceed to a distinction. They tried to claim that in Europe we have this Kantian world of peace, if I may say so. Europe has a part in defending peace and culture, but it doesn't play any important part in the global problems. The USA adopts the Hobbes world, the power and the role to restore peace and to adopt this role on their own. This is not accurate. We need to have cooperation, and we need to have cooperation on fundamental issues, because Europe has a role to play in issues such as growth and development, climate change, war, peace, and of course on issues that are pertinent to the big issue of terrorism and the tragic refugee crisis, this refugees tragedy. So Europe has a part to play and asks for the cooperation of others. If it will not get the cooperation, Europe will have to give it a try on its own. Let's take the subject of climate change. We know that on this topic, Europe has to play a basic role. It's absolutely necessary because Europe knows that man is the center of the universe. Man is the center of the globe, and there can be no economic growth without a balanced environment, an environment that could be protected from basic causes of destruction. Europe is well aware of the fact that economy is there to serve man and not vice versa. And I place emphasis on the fact that we Europeans ask for a cooperation on this subject, and it is a pity not to get help and assistance from the other sides. But if needs be, Europe is going to play this part even on its own. This Europe should be a strong Europe, a Europe with a European integration, Europe that will reach the integration to its end on the basis of representative democracy. And I think that this will render Europe free of the nightmares of the World War II. This is the Europe that Greece defends. And Greece defends this Europe because Greece considers itself part of Europe, and because Europe would not be the same without Greece. We can inspire Europe to defend these values and principles that I mentioned earlier. This is a role of Greece. On the other hand, us Greeks know that we have done our duty in order to be able to be indispensable part of the European Union. We ask from our partners to do their part vis-à-vis Greece in order for Greece to find once again the path to recovery, a path that it well deserves following so many hard efforts for things that the Greek people are not solely responsible. It is not a simple request, but it is our right to demand that. Greece asks on the basis of the principle pacta sunt servanda. We ask our partners to do what they should do. This is the exercise of the right of Greece, because the main fundamental principle that inspires Europe is the principle of solidarity. The principle of solidarity is not an abstract concept. It is a rule of law, and this is to be respected by everyone. So if we want to have a strong Europe necessary to defend its role at a global scale, we need to have a respect of the basic principles and rules that would render this Europe strong. And one of the basic rules is to apply the principle of solidarity. It is only if we Europeans find the strength to stand in solidarity vis-à-vis our common objectives, then we can claim our global role. And as I said earlier, we are going to fulfill this role in cooperation with all those who move towards the same direction. But if needs be, Europe, on the basis of its principles and fundamentals, will do what it has to do on its own, because it has the will, it has the power, and it has its peoples. Peoples who are fully aware of things because they know what their role is since they remember World War II, and they know what they need to defend in this difficult world. So with these thoughts, I'd like to congratulate the organizers of this European Concordia Summit and let them know that myself, together with most of the Greeks, will be interested in learning the results and conclusions of this effort. I wish you success in this effort. Thank you very much.